Have you ever wondered how to read people's body language? I've brought in an expert today. Ann Washburn joins us at Live on Purpose TV. So I've got my expert here today. This is Ann Washburn, who is a speaker and presenter and educator about primarily body language. And we've learned a lot about that. Ann's here to share with us a little bit more today about how to read other people's body language.
Yeah.
Which is a whole different skill set, right?
Well, yeah.
Or focus.
Well, first we get to know about our own body language, and then that's going to teach us about other people's body language. And the thing is as soon as I start teaching somebody about body language, the first thing I start to hear from people is, okay, I saw so-and-so do this, and what does that mean? Because as soon as you learn a few words, you want to know all of the words. Because body language is a language. This is why I've spent the 10,000 hours to be an expert in it, because I wanted to fluently speak the language. So yes. I want to start off with teaching you a very powerful tip on understanding people's body language. And the reason you can use this is because you also have a body which has body language.
We're all doing it.
We're all doing it. We are. And it's not going anywhere. We're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
It's just that we notice it less, because nowadays people are so focused on their phones and everything that people actually have to be taught more of the body language, because we aren't naturally watching it all the time.
Okay.
So this helps with that too, because here's what you do. When you see somebody do something with their body language and you wonder, what was that? What did I just see? You do what I call try on the body language. So not in front of the person, because this is not mirroring. Mirroring is different.
Right. And we're not trying to confront them about anything.
No. And we're not judging them.
So try it on.
Try it on. So if you see somebody, let's just pretend you see somebody, and they all of a sudden in the middle of a conversation, they rub their arm and then put their hand on the back of their neck. And you're like, oh my goodness, what did that mean? Why did they do that?
Yeah.
So later, it doesn't have to be a lot later, but when you're not in front of them, try it yourself. Try it on. Rub your arm and then put your hand on the back of your neck. And then ask yourself these two things. Just say, what does that feel like? And why would I do that? So what does that feel like? And why would I do that?
I was doing it along with you. And so I saw what it felt like. And then as you asked that question, why would I do that? It started a whole a whole process of thoughts that might help me understand what that's all about. That's what you're getting at.
Exactly, because I can teach you that what arms have to do with and what neck has to do with, and the left side of your body in body language often has to do with the past, and rubbing your arm up here can have to do with having the strength or the support you need to have capacity for something.
But you don't need to know all that.
You don't have to know all of that.
Okay.
And like neck has to do with our ability to look a different direction and our stubbornness and those kinds of things. But you don't have to remember all of that.
Just try it on.
Try it on. So when you see it, you try it and go, why would somebody do that? Why would I do that? And you'll get an answer, because your body is a communication device. Your body will teach you things when you ask the right questions. So ask yourself, what does this feel like? And why would I do it?
Why would I do that?
Then you don't have to carry the manual around with you. You can instead, you can try those things on. Okay?
Wow, that's brilliant.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I love that, because people are always like, I wish you could just follow me around and tell me what everybody's saying. And I'm like, that would be fun, but I can't do it for 10,000 people at a time. But I can teach 10,000 people at a time to do it themselves.
Yeah.
And that's what's empowering.
Nice.
Is when we can try it ourselves. So try one more on for me, okay?
Okay.
What if you are in the middle of a conversation and all of a sudden somebody's foot turns to the side? So I'm going to put my hands up here as if they're feet. And so their feet are forward, and all of a sudden they turn one of their feet to the side.
Right.
So try it. What do you think that feels like?
And you know what, Ann? It feels different if I turn it toward you as opposed to away from you. So that's interesting to notice.
But
it feels like I'm going somewhere. I'm about to leave.
Yes.
Right?
Yep, you're going somewhere. In fact, what it really is showing is that somebody's attention has been diverted, has checked out of the conversation and has moved a different direction. Almost like their foot is now pointed towards the door.
So you might get some feedback from people as you're talking with someone. Let's say you're at an event or something and you're talking with someone and you see them shift their foot toward the door. We can't read everything.
Don't do this.
Right?
When you see somebody's foot towards the door, don't say, "Hey, how come you're not listening to me anymore?"
Right.
Okay? We're not trying to judge people.
Not going to go well.
Exactly.
Okay.
So whenever I do a body language training, the first thing I teach people is to take judgment out of it.
Yes.
We're not using body language to judge people. We're using it to understand people.
Right.
And so when you see a foot move towards the door, instead of judging them, you can ask a question or start wrapping up the conversation. Because then you're building rapport with them because you recognize they have somewhere else they need to be or something they remembered.
And then you can be sensitive to that.
And understanding.
And that helps your relationship with them.
That builds rapport and increases connection when people feel understood. That is one of the most powerful things to do with body language, is to help people feel understood.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so so you want another one?
Yes, bring it.
Okay, so when you're talking to somebody and you ask them a question, here's another thing to know. Their eyes will look somewhere before they answer the question. Now, not every time, because sometimes people have an answer ready prepared and they don't have to look. But if they have to remember or find an answer, our eyes are actually what trigger the memory inside of us. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So what happens is if somebody, they can look anywhere around the whole 360-degree ability of their eyes.
Right.
But there's some very common places that people will look.
Okay.
And those are up to their left, not your left. Because like when I'm looking at you.
Okay, so you're right.
Yes. So
their left.
They'll look up to their right or their left.
Okay.
And so you got to remember it's theirs. Okay. So
from their perspective.
From their perspective.
Left is this way. That's your right.
Yeah. Okay, so you got to just think about that. So up to the left. Up and to the right, straight to the side towards the ears, or straight down. Those are the most common ones.
Okay.
Now, here's what is cool about it. When you know where they looked for their answer, you know what category of answer they were looking for or found. For example, when somebody looks up and to their left, they're looking into the left side of their brain. And left brain thinking and answers has to do with data and numbers and facts and past things. So when somebody looks up and to the left, they're looking into that left side of the brain. Up and to the right, same thing. Up and to the right is right side of the brain. So that's going to be big picture, imagination, creativity, or future things that haven't happened yet. Now, when somebody looks straight to the side, they're listening to something that someone has told them or something that they've read. Because very often when people read, they read the words through their mind, they hear them as they're reading. Right. So when somebody looks straight to the side, it's something they've heard or something they've read, something someone's told them or they've heard or they've read. When somebody looks straight down, it's an emotional answer. There's emotion attached to it.
Okay.
And the longer they look down, the deeper the emotion or the more emotion attached to the answer that they're finding. So here's how you build rapport with somebody. if they look down for their answer, don't try to pull them back out of it too quickly. Be patient and wait for them to look back up with their answer. Because what we often tend to do is we try to rescue people when we see them looking for an emotional answer. And so we quickly make a joke, change the subject, ask them another question. But if you'll let them find their answer and then look back up with that answer, you actually build rapport with that person.
It's like you're acknowledging where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And this is even more obvious, I think, Anne, when someone starts to tear up or, gets visibly emotional.
Oh, yeah, we're used to that signal.
That's a clear indication.
Yeah.
Even then, it's good to just let them feel what they're feeling for a minute. You don't have to rescue them. But what you're saying is you can catch it early in some of the subtle cues that they're giving through their eye movement. That maybe this is an emotionally connected thing for them, and give them time to feel that, which increases the rapport and the connection.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Well, so for example, if I ask my child, are you ready for your test? And my child looks up and to the left. They've looked
to their left.
Up and to their left. They've looked at their preparation. They've looked at their past results. They've looked at
It's data.
It's data. And if they look up to the left and then they say, yeah, I think I'm ready, that matches really well.
Right.
If they look up and to the right, now that has to do with the future, and they're thinking about how am I going to do on that test. And then they say, you know what, I'm not sure about it. Or I think I might do okay. They might need some help studying for that test, because they aren't feeling confident about it yet.
It's more of a big picture thing.
Because here, let me tell you a quick story that really lines all of this up. Because one day my son, 3rd grade, comes home from school, and I asked him this really profound question. I said, how was your day? You ever asked a kid that?
Oh, yeah.
So I asked him that question, where do you think they would look? Most of the time they're just like, fine. They don't even look somewhere.
Yeah, it's a non-answer.
A non-answer. But if they look somewhere to decide how their day was, where do you think they'd look?
It depends.
It depends.
Right.
Well, this particular day, I asked my son, how was your day? And he looked straight to the side. And I thought, wait a second, why is he listening to something that someone told him to decide how his day was?
Oh, interesting.
And so he goes, my day was fine. And I'm like, Because here's the thing about body language. When you see the body language not match the words, it's time to ask more questions.
Right.
That is the superpower of body language. If the words in the body language don't match, don't judge, ask more questions.
Right.
So I thought, all right, I'm going to ask him about his day, because he somehow heard something that he was worried about.
Right.
And so I asked him, I said, all right, well, I thought recess might be a place that a kid would hear something. So I said, how was lunch today? And he looked up and to the left, which is the past. And he looked at me and he goes, lunch was good. I played with my friend. And I said, okay. I didn't find the answer yet. So then I asked him about math class. Now, where's the numbers? Do you remember?
Well, they're typically in the left, right?
Up and to the left. And he did. He looked up and to the left, math class. And he goes, math was good, Mom. I'm one of the best kids in the class at math.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool. So that was a positive, but I still didn't find the answer. So I asked him one more time. I said, how was reading class today? He looked straight to the side, and then he looked down.
Ah.
So what do you think I did?
So this is a totally different response.
Totally different response.
Yeah.
And
So
he's looking down. So I waited.
Pause.
Because it was emotional.
Yeah.
So he's looking down, and while he's looking down, he looks up, and he saw that I was still looking and waiting, and he was like, oh shoot, she's still looking. So he's still looking down, and he did it twice. He looked up again. Oh, she's still waiting. Because I wasn't like interrogating. I was just trying to be neutral.
But you're not going to jump in
open.
and rescue him either. You're going to let him feel what he's feeling.
Yeah.
And
so
give him a moment.
Exactly. So on the 3rd time, he looks back up and he has a tear. And he goes, Mom, the reading teacher told me I was the dumbest reader in the class. And I was afraid that if I told you, you'd be mad at me for being stupid. So did I find it?
You found it.
I found it.
You found it.
Now, what should I do next?
Love him.
Okay, good answer. Most people go, you should go to the school. But
draw your sword.
But right then I'm like, okay, I have a chance to save him 20 years of therapy if I can help him process this moment right here.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, what am I going to do? So I asked him this question. I said, hey, who reads your math test to you? And he goes, why would anybody read my math test to me? And I go, well, how could you be one of the best at math and the dumbest reader if you read your own math test?
Good point, Mom.
So look at what he did. He goes,
he's looking all over.
yeah. And then he goes, can I go play now? And I was like, yes, you can go play while I go on a field trip. But see, the cool thing there was is because I watched his eyes and didn't make a judgment, I learned and showed respect for his feelings and built connection with him because I listened. Does that make sense?
You listened and you paid attention to this new language that we're talking about. New to us. You've got 10,000 hours in this.
Yeah, but it's powerful.
But just what you've shared with us here today, Ann, can you see that this could be helpful in your parenting, with coworkers?
Oh, absolutely.
In your primary relationships.
But it only works if you don't judge based on what you see.
Right, that's the risk.
That's the risk. This is what actually stops people most often from learning more about body language is they step into judgment and now their relationships go down instead of up.
Right.
So you don't have to know 10,000 hours worth of body language for it to benefit you. You can learn one piece and have it benefit you as long as you leave the judgment out of it. That's the most powerful piece. So how do you read body language? Leave the judgment out. When the words and the body language don't match, ask more questions.
Ask more questions.
And if you really want to know why they did something, try the body language on. Try it on and see what it feels like.
Without judging, just try it on.
Without judging.
I love it.
Oh, it is powerful.
Thank you, Ann.
I highly recommend people learn more about body language.
And you can get to some additional resources about that down in the description. We'll keep some links there for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That's fascinating stuff. Body language, understanding it. Comment below about what you've learned from this video and in your own experience.